You can vet what people have done in the past. You can't vet what people might do in the future. There's another dynamic at play here, and that is you could allow someone into our country who has no history of radicalization. Perhaps they even have worked with you in the past, but they are susceptible to radicalization once they enter the United States because they don't assimilate well, because they fall victim to some of this online propaganda and efforts to radicalize people. And 2 or 3 years later, you find that they have radicalized. That is a threat. That is a real threat.
If you thought today was going to be chill, think again, because the conversation around America's travel policies just got supercharged. A brand new report says the travel ban could expand to a jaw-dropping 30 countries, and the timing couldn't be more chaotic. This comes right on the heels of a shocking D.C. incident involving 2 National Guard members and an Afghan national, pushing the administration into overdrive on immigration scrutiny. So buckle up, because what started as a tight list of high-risk nations might be leveling up into something much bigger, louder, and way more controversial than anyone expected. The government hit the pause button on immigration applications from 19 countries labeled as high risk, citing national security concerns after the D.C. shooting incident involving 2 National Guard members. Officials argue they need stronger screening to prevent similar situations. Some critics call it an overreaction, but supporters say it's long overdue. And if you think stopping at 19 countries was the end of the story, buckle up. According to insiders, the administration is considering expanding the list to as many as 30 nations. That means an entire additional wave of travelers could face restrictions before even stepping onto U.S. soil. This isn't just a small update, it's a massive strategic shift with serious global implications. And trust me, the legal fight that follows is going to be a whole movie. Former U.S. Attorney Jonathan Fahey argues the expansion has a strong legal footing, citing the Supreme Court's prior ruling in Trump versus Hawaii. That case pretty much established that the executive branch can restrict entry from countries considered security threats. But if the law makes things sound simple, the politics are about to get messy. Opponents are already firing up, saying this policy punishes innocent travelers and could inflame international tensions. They argue the criteria for high-risk labels often aren't transparent or consistent, but the administration seems ready to weather the backlash. And speaking of risk, the debate gets even sharper when you talk radicalization. Senator Marco Rubio says even people with no prior extremist history can become radicalized after entering the U.S. That's part of the rationale behind tightening entry rules. Some fear ideological threats can slip through traditional vetting. And that leads straight to the next burning question. How do you re-vet people already here? Experts say vetting inside the country could include serious interviews, social media analysis, and identifying connections with extremist networks. They argue better follow-up could help prevent future attacks. But that brings us to a gigantic challenge no one can ignore. Fahey explains that some nations simply lack reliable systems to cross-check applicants. You can't exactly call up the local Taliban office to verify someone's background. That means screening becomes guesswork, fueling arguments for bans. And then the D.C. shooting case poured gasoline on the debate. The Afghan national charged in the D.C. shooting pled not guilty, but the event instantly reignited the national security conversation. The judge even said the DOJ's case was exceedingly strong, suggesting a long and intense legal battle is ahead. And what prosecutors want next is a major escalation. Former officials argue the shooter should face the maximum penalty allowed, potentially even the death penalty, both for justice and as a stark warning against similar acts. And the political ripple effects don't stop there. This entire situation exposes how quickly immigration debates can collide with national security fears. With 30 countries potentially added to the travel ban, America is bracing for legal fights, global reactions, and intense public scrutiny. And now let's bring it home. If you're watching this thinking, wow, this situation is getting intense, you're absolutely right, and we're just getting started. So before you dive into the comment section with your thoughts on the 30-country expansion, make sure you hit subscribe, tap that notification bell, and drop a like to keep this conversation rolling. This story is evolving fast, and here at GlobalPulseNewz, we break it down with clarity, energy, and zero fluff. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and stay ready for the next major update.